Aroma Thyme Bistro presents Wine Thyme Live, hosted by the Hudson Valley's premier green certified entrepreneurs, Marcus and Jamie Guiliano. So grab a glass of your favorite vino, sit back, relax, and travel with them, sharing their passion discovering unique vineyards, outstanding wines, delicious food, and great adventure.
Hello, Facebook. Hello, Instagram.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wine Thyme Live, episode number 5.
Excellent, excellent.
What's the title of this one, Jamie?
The title is We Blew Off Banfi for This Winery.
Yeah, so Banfi is a very famous Brunello, big Brunello producer, American-owned, by the way. Some people from Long Island own it. But it's one of the more iconic Brunello producers out there because of its name, its reputation, their marketing, their facility. Their facility is amazing. It's a castle.
From what we've seen.
From what we've seen, their facility is amazing. Not seen in person,
Not in person, only pictures, right?
Pictures online.
Yes.
Pictures online. It is a very, very amazing vineyard, Banfi, but we haven't been there.
No.
And we probably won't be going there. We today are drinking Belpoggio. Belpoggio is a winery from Montalcino. Brought the big glasses today.
I like the big glasses.
Yeah, I got the big
I think
glass.
you can fill a whole bottle in these glasses. Look at this glass.
You could. I think you can fill.
I think it goes up to like here.
Yeah, it's like a 25-ounce glass, and this is a 25-ounce bottle. It doesn't look like it would fit, but it fits.
It does fit.
If you're watching us, if you're watching the video versus listening to this on a podcast
What
form.
year is this? 2018.
2018. All right, so
Ooh.
we're drinking a Rosso, so we're not drinking a Brunello. We're drinking a Rosso, which is, you could call it a baby Brunello. It's the next step up would be Brunello, more aging, little more.
Do you know the aging process for Brunello?
I think it's 2 in 1, 2 years in the barrel, 1 year in the bottle. I think.
Okay.
Not 100% sure. That might be the case. Italy has very, very strict guidelines for every DOC, DOCG. It has to be aged a certain amount of time in the barrel, a certain amount of time in the bottle to be released and be called Barbaresco, Barolo, Brunello, Agliano del Volture, Terrassi. So they have very, very specific requirements that that to do for aging.
So Brunello, Montalcino is in the province of Siena, located about 80 kilometers south of Florence in the Tuscany wine region.
Yes.
So let's see. I was looking to see the specifications. Brunello is 100% Sangiovese.
Sangiovese Grosso?
Just Sangiovese.
Sangiovese.
Sangiovese. The grapes, the wine. Let's see if it gives me how many years. But you can keep talking, and I'll kind of.
So we visited this vineyard in 2009, which was its like maiden voyage. This vineyard was bought. The property was bought in 2005 from the family, the couple who owns Belusi. Belusi, who makes those amazing proseccos from up in Alto Adige. They fell in love with this place in Tuscany. There's a bee around you, isn't there? Jamie's allergic to bees, so she's being very cautious. There's 2 bees. She's allergic to bees. I got stung by a bee the other day. First time that I've ever gotten stung by a bee, and I knew what it was right away. I didn't see the bee, but I felt it on the back of my arm. Jamie's allergic to bees, so hopefully they'll go on their way. She hasn't gotten stung since she was a kid, right?
No, I had wasp bite. This bee is following me.
7-8 years ago, you got a wasp bite.
Yes.
So this couple fell in love with the property, this beautiful property in Montalcino. They bought it and started a winery called Belpoggio. It's the Belusi. It's the Belusi family that owns this. They have 2 properties. This is their Tuscany property. They make 3 wines here. They make a IGT, a Toscana, a Rosso, which you're drinking, and a Brunello. Now, we had plans to sort of go see them and a couple other vineyards like Altesino when we were back in 2009. We've been to Montalcino 4 times, I believe, Jamie. 4 times we've been to Montalcino, home of Brunello.
3 times.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So
Something like that.
we had plans to go to Banfi.
We did.
2009, we had plans to go to Banfi. Banfi, being the iconic producer and having the castle, we had a wine rep here that said, I'll get you into Banfi, no problem.
2009, right?
2009.
2009. So that was pre-cell phones. You didn't carry a cell phone with you.
We did have one.
We
I had to
had
make,
one for emergency calls,
right?
I
used
yes.
it. I used it. So
that's
2009,
right.
I used it. So we are, we're driving all through Montalcino now. Every time we go, we typically drive. We rent a car and we drive. When we're on our VIP wine vacation trips, we're with the group and we don't have a car. But prior to the last trip, we rented a car and drove all through Apulia, Basilicata, Campania, and drove up to Rome in 8 days. We covered a lot of ground in the car. Then we're on the bus. So every time we go, we always rent a car and we're in a car at some point. Every time we go, we get lost.
Always.
Right?
There's always a story.
We've gotten lost so many times.
Yes.
In fact, in 2009, before you had the data of the cell phones, we had cell phones.
That's what it was. It was the data of having cell phones. You didn't have maps on it.
Didn't have maps.
You didn't have maps. So in 2009, right?
We got lost at least once a day.
At least once a day.
At least once a day we got lost.
We were there for like 10 days.
And we made the most of it some days. We would just get lost and sit on the top of a mountain and be like, oh, well.
We
we're
can't
in this
get there.
Cute little village. It's quaint here. Let's just pop out and see what the locals are doing. And at
one time we bought a map. Remember we stopped and we bought a map of Italy just so we could figure it out because there was no, but you didn't have data. You didn't, when you brought your cell phone, it was only to make a call and it was an emergency call and it was
expensive.
very expensive.
So, I love this wine. We'll talk about the wine in a bit. It's so smooth and silky, and fruit, good amount of fruit, really awesome. So, a wine rep here said, I will get you an appointment with Banfi. I'll get you an appointment with Banfi. There's no like special treatment at Banfi. It's so large and commercialized. It's like going into a big Napa Valley tasting room. You have to really know somebody and buy a lot of Banfi to really get like an amazing tour there. Other than that, you're on a set schedule. We're in the wine industry. We're in the wine business. We own a restaurant. We are buying Banfi wines at this point. So we have a purchase history at Banfi. But you have to get on their guided tours, and that's it. They don't.
That's it. They only had a tour at like 1 and 4 or something.
They don't
like
deviate. They don't deviate from the set tours. So we're driving. We're lost.
Well, we were actually. We thought we were lost.
We thought we were lost.
We thought we were lost.
So we had gone to Altesino already. We'd been to Altesino. We were there. We had to do Bel Poggio after Banfi. And we got La Maggia in as a surprise.
Actually, La Maggia was on our way back after Bel Poggio because we couldn't find Banfi.
Right. So
we're passing La Maggia and we're like, man, we should go to La Maggia. And we're like, no, we have this appointment. We have to be on time.
We have to go to Banfi. We have to be on time.
Banfi.
So the way that Montalcino's set up is you have the top of the mountain, which is the village of Montalcino. And then you have the outlying areas that are vineyards that go down the mountain and into the valley floor. Yes. So you have vineyards all around this mountain. So we go up on top of the mountain. First we're on one side of the mountain. We taste Altesino. We drive
go up the mountain.
To the top. We see La Maggia. So, we know La Maggia. We have their wines. Great. Too bad we're not going there today is what we say. Let's head to Banfi. So we're driving. And we get to the other side of the mountain and go down and we're driving. We're looking at directions.
I think we even stopped and asked, and somebody said, it's this way, that way. I can't remember,
So what do? We call on the cell phone.
And we said, we're going to be about 15 minutes late.
And mind you, they speak perfect English.
They spoke English. We said, we're going to be about 15 minutes late. We think we're lost. How do we get there? So we gave them our location. And I believe they said to us,
we're 45 minutes away.
You're 45 minutes away.
You're 45 minutes away. You'll never make the tour. You'll never make the tour.
Sure.
And this is the part that is terrible about these big wineries. You're going to be late. You'll never make the tour. We buy Banfi wine. We were buying Banfi. We haven't bought Banfi wine since then. You accommodate. Smaller vineyards can accommodate because it's all based on personal experiences, personal relationships, and they don't have these. Banfi is a factory. It is a tour factory.
Right.
It's set up scientifically so you can go in and see this oh wow thing. The psychology of sales is in there,
Yep.
and you leave buying a lot of wine. And it's like walking into IKEA. It's everything strategically placed, and you have to walk here, walk there, get this
Even
experience.
the grocery store, right?
Right.
They have the small little things, yes.
So we're like, I guess we're not going to
We're not-
Banfi today.
Right, I guess we're not getting to Banfi.
So what do?
So we
Went up to the top of the mountain.
went up to the top of the mountain.
It was 1 o'clock.
Yep.
Because it was siesta time.
So we went to La Magia, right? And
We showed up
we
unannounced.
just showed up
Unannounced.
And it was 1 o'clock, and of course, I can still see the lady opening the shutters on the top of the building.
Yep.
Gorgeous building.
They did not speak English.
They didn't speak very much English at all, did they?
So we had to explain to them.
And we said, we have a restaurant, and we tried as best we could to explain it to them.
that we have their wine in New York. And as soon as
And
they heard restaurant in New York, their
They said,
wine.
come on in. And so we went
Mind
in.
you, they were on siesta.
Yes, they were.
They were shut down. They were closed. Siesta happens every day. Like this was like must have been like 1:30 at the time. Siesta happens every day.
Yeah.
All these places shut down, and they don't come back to work until 4 o'clock or whatever.
And they said, sure, come on in. So we went in. I remember he didn't speak very good English, but they only had
Two wines. Rosso and Brunello.
And he said, we only have 2 wines. We said, okay. So he let us taste the wines in the small little tasting room. And then he took us out back. And remember, he opened the doors, and the rolling hills and the gorgeous vineyards that we saw were absolutely amazing.
Stunning.
Absolutely stunning. And we just fell in love with that spot.
We did.
Yeah.
Corte Pavone is sort of up in that area, and they had amazing views. We were there when it was raining last year.
Yes.
But that's another great Brunello producer. But La Magia, the couple just opened the doors. They like nothing. It was,
Come on in.
And here's Banfi.
Who can't even...
They can't even give us the right directions.
Right.
And told us if you're not going to make it, you're not going to be on the tour. Meantime, we buy their wines.
Meantime, we were literally 5 minutes away.
When
we ended up talking to, I don't remember who it was, somebody.
From Belpoggio.
When we talked to them from Belpoggio, they said, you were right there.
You were there.
You were right there.
We showed them where on the map, and they go, it's right here.
Right
you
here.
were right there.
And, so...
Things happen for a reason.
Always.
Because that was a major turnoff for us.
Very big.
On how not...
I think it actually made us start thinking more about small, little, independently owned wineries, breweries, distilleries that we want to buy from. I know we had that mindset, but I think it kind of forced us a little bit more. There was another experience that we had as well in Napa that also made us feel like we were in a factory, and it was not.
And keep
for
in
us.
mind, Banfi is independently owned. It's owned by
okay, so it's
a Long Island family.
Okay.
It's independently owned. It's not some mass
it's
conglomerate.
big. It was
but
big.
it's
Too
big.
big for us.
It's too big. The Puerto Rican rum, Bacardi is independently
Family
owned.
still, right?
But it's like a massive, massive company. It's independently owned, right? So even though things are independently owned, they still might fit into our regime of is this something to buy? So we got very turned off with Banfi at that point. It's a factory, and we don't care how good their wine is. It wasn't for us.
Wasn't for us.
And that's the last time we ever bought Banfi wine.
Yep.
We went to La Magia, had an amazing time, and then we went to Belpoggio. So we have the Brunello. We just brought back in their Rosso, and this wine is amazing. It's on our list retail for $29.99. Take it out of the door home for in restaurant $39.99. For this wine for $39.99 is a bargain at a restaurant. They only make 3 wines again, an IGT Toscano Rosso, the Montalcino Rosso, and then the big boy, the Brunello. You're not a fan of Brunellos.
I'm not. It's okay for me. It's not my favorite.
This one's softer, fruitier.
It's a little softer.
Easier to drink than a Brunello right now. This is really an amazing wine. Altesino makes an amazing Rosso too that we poured by the glass here. If you went with us on our last trip, you went to Altesino. With us. So one of the biggest differences with us and other tour operators when we talk about planning trips to Italy, we're taking a course now. We have a coach.
We're taking a course.
We have a coach, a business travel coach. We're learning things. We were like, oh wow, this is how you really do the travel business. Because for us, we know all the contacts. We've got
We have the
contacts.
contacts, we have the relationships, we've built them over the 17 years that we have been buying wine, right?
And
we've been traveling, that we've
Right.
literally been to these wineries.
We know the owners, and we've been to the properties. Like you said, we've been there, we've been traveling. So what a normal tour operator would do is they would call somebody in Italy and say, we're bringing a group of 24 people through. We need vineyards, we need hotels, we need this and that. And what does a tour operator do? First thing they recommend?
The big
Banfi.
wineries, Banfi.
Banfi. They recommend Banfi because that's iconic, and it's castle-like, and it's picturesque, and
We're not looking for that.
we're not looking for that.
No, we are looking for the red carpet treatment, the VIP service. Know the owners. The owners will come out and actually sit with us, taste us on wine, talk to us, drink wine with us,
Yep.
open a really special bottle with us. It's really pretty cool. We've sat in owners' living rooms before and had tastings because they didn't have a tasting room. Like, we are looking for those boutique, very small, boutique-y.
Yep, and if they're not through,
wineries.
we have gone to some larger wineries.
We have.
We've gone to wineries that do $1 million,
Because we
a
want
million
our
bottles,
guests to see,
but we
to
know the
see.
owner still.
Yep.
Like, so here's a great story. This is one of my favorite stories. Fantanelle.
Ah, yes.
They do 4 million bottles. 4 million bottles. The winery is big, massive. It's beautiful. They also own another winery called La Roncaglia, which is their small winery, 15,000 bottles. They own Sant'Agnelli Prosciutto Company. I think they're involved in Grana production. So they're a very well off, very established business family in northern Italy, the Fantanelles.
Yes.
I can message Marco right now.
And he'd answer you back.
He'd answer me back right now.
100%.
And what does he say every time he talks to me? Thank you for your business.
business.
Thank you for your business. I appreciate your business. A winery does 4 million bottles, knows who we are, has a relationship. They ushered us around. We went to Udine. We met them at their base, at their home. They took us out to dinner. They kept us there longer than we wanted to stay because we were on our way to
They
Slovenia.
were like, you have to see this. You have to stay for this. You have
That's
to,
the same.
yeah. So we ended up just changing our plans because they took time out of their schedule, out of their busy, hectic life to take care of us. You know what? We're gonna skip something this time, and we're gonna make it work. And we stayed with them, and we actually did 2 days with them.
We did 2 days with them. And as soon as the pandemic hit, I got a message from Marco. Hope everything's all well with you guys. Hope business is good. I mean, here's a guy that's managing his businesses, his family business, whatever, and doing these massive numbers. And he's messaging me and saying, "How's business? How's New York? How's everything going there?" So that's what we're looking for, is in this relationships that we build. The next time we go to that part of Italy, we'll definitely go to Fantanelle.
Absolutely.
We've been there. We haven't taken a group of people there yet.
And we have their Prosecco in-house.
Yep,
which
that's our house
That's
pour.
our house pour. It's awesome. It's amazing. We absolutely love it.
So every time a distributor comes and they say to me, "I have a Prosecco,"
And we say, we tell them the story, and we say, can you beat that? And they say no.
'Cause what they do
Stick
is-
with Fantanelle.
what they do is they come in with price options.
Yeah.
They come in and they say,
Well, they say, well,
how much you pay? And they know what Fantanelle costs because it's no secret what Fantanelle costs because you see it in the stores and they can look it up very easily. And they go, "I have a Prosecco that's going to save you $4 a bottle." And I said, "But are they going to do what Marco Fantanelle did?" And we tell them the story. They go, "Well, they can't do that." I'm like, "Well, that's why we serve Fantanelle. That's why we're fans of them. That's why we support them." So going back to this whole course that we're taking on travel,
It's pretty cool.
we're learning that most of these companies, these tour operators like us, just call a supplier. And the supplier, who's the ground operator in Italy or Spain or France or wherever, orchestrates everything. That the person you're buying the trip from has no real passion or roots in
Right.
where they're going and what they're doing. So when you go to these websites and you look at itineraries on these travel, and it could be one single person, it could be a small group, it could be some kind of travel agent. They will send you anywhere because they have the access to send you anywhere and book anything. And if you went to them and said, if they have a tour that's 15
And
people.
honestly, they probably have ones that they use all the time that they probably get a better percentage back from them, right? Because everybody needs to make money for what they're doing.
Basically, the travel business is like a commodity. It's like a commodity. These companies call other companies that have done the trip. when we were on the Amalfi Coast, we tried to buy the most expensive hotel. Remember that?
Yeah.
We were looking on, because we're last minute people when we travel by ourselves. Sometimes we'll plan ahead.
We were on either TripAdvisor or Hotel Tonight or one of those.
And we're trying to get
travelers.
the most expensive hotel on the Amalfi Coast. Because I'm like, how can you get a hotel on the Amalfi Coast for $90?
Right.
I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like, we're on the Amalfi Coast, and it's dark at night, so we couldn't see.
And it was late.
And we found one for like over $200. We're like, yes, awesome luxury hotel, $200. This is great. And what happens when we get there?
Well, first of all, we couldn't find the place. It was a disaster. The address was so. I don't even know how we ended up finding the place, but it was a disaster getting there. But when we got to the hotel, it was a big conglomerate hotel. Like
it was a convention hall.
It had no Italian feel to it.
None.
It felt like you were by the sea, by the ocean in Ocean City, Maryland.
You were on the mountain.
A cheap hotel. It really didn't feel good. And we were like, okay. So we were looking. We were hungry. So we said, okay, we need to go eat.
We went to the restaurant hotel.
Went to the restaurant in the hotel. And we looked at what they had. We looked at the space.
Looked at the wine list.
And we were like, these are all big wines.
The wines, they had more American wines in this place. We don't really see many American wines here in Italy. And we're looking, Sagacio, Zinfandel. We could look through the list and we're like, all these American wines.
Which are not bad wines, but we're in Italy. We wanted to drink good Italian, local, something nearby. Like, that's what we look for when we travel.
And what did I say?
We said, there's got to be a place downtown that we can go to. So we asked at the front desk. They gave us directions.
We said, where do you go for dinner is what we said.
And we ended up at... Oh my gosh, I would totally go back to that place. It was amazing.
Amazing.
I can't even remember what the food was. Was it Thai or was it?
No, it was Italian. It was Italian.
Oh yeah, it was Italian. That's right. I'm trying to think. And wow, we sat next to people that we got to talk to. A lot of them live there, not year round, but they have houses there and they were visiting and then they leave, or they were people that go to that area all the time. So that was really cool. But the food was amazing.
And we spoke to the owner.
We spoke to the owner.
Right.
And the
kids
wife were running around.
Yep.
It was really a great experience. What we're looking for when we travel, that's what we're looking for. We are looking for the Italian feel in a countryside, good food, good wine, and amazing service. And you know what? It's all these restaurants that we go to are usually family owned. They're not huge, right?
Right. So we get back to the hotel.
Right.
And one of the couples at the bar was like, "Oh, you were at that restaurant tonight." So that was our opening. We made some commonalities and started talking to this couple that was with another couple and with another couple. And they were on a tour bus.
Right.
One of the tour buses outside was theirs.
When we pulled up, there were like 4 tour buses.
They were staying there for 3 days.
3 days.
And they're like, oh, this hotel is nice and this and that. And we're like...
Oh my gosh, for $200? Wow.
This is the most expensive hotel we could find, too. And we're like, this is not a hotel to bring our guests to. No. This is not... And come to find out, this is like on the route to all these tours. Tour buses pull in and out of this every day, every other day. And that's what they do. So when you call these ground operators, they send you to hotels a lot of them send you to hotels like that. Now, granted, all tour operators are not like that. But there's a lot of them that are... It's just a factory. It's just a factory. And they said there were 55 people on their tour or something, and they paid more than we did, more than we charged for our tours. And when we were told about our tours, she's like, oh my gosh.
That sounds amazing, yeah.
Their tour was, I think, might have been a day or so longer, but it was more money. And he goes, they were on their own every night for dinner, basically. They had all these extra expenses, which we cover everything.
Everything from the minute you land in Italy.
We cover everything.
Unless you want, souvenirs and
shoes and scarves,
extra wine,
right.
That's not included in what.
But your meals, everything, we cover everything, and they're looking for 3 nights in a row to go out for dinner, and they're in a hotel that only has one terrible restaurant. American. I could see that the hotel was very Americanized by looking at this.
It was, yes.
Breakfast the next day wasn't bad. The view was amazing when you got out.
The view was amazing the next morning. Absolutely amazing.
So if you're thinking, oh, Amalfi Coast, that was the Amalfi Coast.
Because we couldn't see it at nighttime. We had no idea what it looked like at nighttime. So all we could see were the lights around the edges of the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. So we're learning a lot with this.
We're learning a lot
about travel.
Yeah.
And we've been on the phone constantly with Italy. Every day I make 2 to 3 phone calls to Italy, coordinating our next trip. Our next trip is going to be really great in April 2021. We have now put dates. The new website launches this week. Fingers crossed.
Fingers
We're having a little technical glitch right now with
If you are
some of the
interested in
formatting.
traveling with us in April, we're going April 16th through the 25th. I think we only have a few spots left, and our contract is ready.
Yep.
So that will be available.
New updated for COVID.
For COVID. That will be available tomorrow, and we will get that out to anybody that is planning on traveling with us or would like to travel with us.
Yep.
So,
and honestly, we're really not trying to book any more seats for that because we're at that point where we're sold out.
Yes.
What happens is you sell so many tickets, so many seats, and all of a sudden a month later when your friends find out that you're going,
You're like,
I want to
wanna
go to Italy with you. And so it's one of those things where we tend to get overbooked sometimes. So we kind of go cautiously and say, well, we kind of have 2 seats left.
Right.
Because we know those 2 seats are going to sell. So probably people on the trip are recommending them. So we're not actively doing them. But if you came to us and said, here's money, we would probably book you in the trip. Or we talked to you about Sicily, the next upcoming trip, which is October. We're actually doing end of October into November. I booked the dates. And we have backup dates for our April trip in case our April trip doesn't happen. We had to make backup dates just to do to get our refunds and or get proper credits with the hotels. We have a backup date.
So we're in 2020 right now. COVID is happening.
I spoke to our tour guide today, Luigi.
Awesome.
And he goes, Marcus, we are in fantastic shape here. We're one of the best countries right now.
Good.
He goes, I will go to America because he comes to America. There's a lot of wine sales, and he goes, I'll come to America as soon as they let me in.
Good.
He goes, we're fine here. We're fine. We can't wait to get back into America. We cannot wait for Americans to come back in.
I don't think Americans are allowed in Italy and America currently
without quarantine.
Without quarantine. Right.
You can go there and you can quarantine, but it's hard to book a trip.
Go there, quarantine for 2 weeks, and then
come back here.
And then be there for 2
weeks, and then come back here.
Come back here and quarantine for 2 weeks.
We know people that have gone back and forth, have done the quarantine. But he goes, Marcus, the cases are virtually nothing here. We're in such great shape. We're much better compared to March, April, and May. He goes, it is a world of difference here.
Awesome.
Southern Italy was never affected like Northern, like Milan. Was the epicenter of it. Southern Italy, they had no idea.
I can't wait to get back out and travel. I cannot wait to get somewhere overseas, wherever it might be. And we've been doing a lot of stuff in our immediate area as well, right?
Yes.
We've been going to some wineries, and stay tuned. We're going to do a winery tomorrow, right?
Yep.
We're going to go to, actually we have 2 wineries that we're going to be visiting tomorrow. So
here in the Hudson Valley.
In the Hudson Valley. So stay tuned for those.
We're thinking about doing a trip to the Finger Lakes. Mm-hmm. We got clearance from some of the small wineries that we know, because a lot of the wineries would not allow buses to come in. And buses, they mean by like 15 people, 30 people, things like that, tour buses. But some of the owners said, oh, Marcus, if you want to bring a group of 8, we can make that happen.
Yeah.
You can bring some guests. We can do group of 8 or 10, 2 separate tables, whatever. We can make that happen. We'll accommodate you. And that's because we have relationships and we know the vineyard owners and their smaller vineyards that will be happy to accommodate us.
Yes.
So that's the story with that. A little bit about the wine. We're drinking Belpoggio
Rosso.
Belpoggio Rosso. It's made from the Sangiovese.
Sangiovese
grape.
Sangiovese.
Sangiovese. From Montalcino commune in
Siena.
In the province of Siena, in Tuscany, 80 kilometers south of Florence. One of the most, when you think of Tuscany, when you see all those beautiful pictures of Tuscany, the rolling hills, the mountains, chances are that picture was taken in Montalcino. There's a lot of places you can take that picture, that quintessential picture in Tuscany, but Montalcino is just one of those places. And they're, of course, they're home to the famous Brunello. Brunello was invented in the 1880s, 1888, I think, was the very first vintage of Brunello from Biondi Santi. 1888 from Biondi Santi. They were the ones who made this first.
Biondi Santi,
Biondi Santi. I'm not sure.
Which was declared only 4 vintages up to that point: 1888, 1891, 1925, and 1945.
I'm not sure when they officially made it a
In the 1960s, there were 11 producers making Brunello, and in 1968, the region was granted
68.
DOC.
DOC. DOC or DOCG?
DOC.
DOC, okay.
By 1970s, the number of producers had more than doubled to 25, and by 1980, there were 53 producers.
Wow.
In 1980, the Montalcino region was the first Italian wine region to be awarded the DOCG.
The first region.
1980.
1980, the first DOCG. DOCG means guaranteed quality.
So
Denomination, original, control, guarantee. Guaranteed.
Yep. The original Controlla e Granta.
Yep, guaranteed.
Yep. By the turn of the 21st century, there were nearly 200 producers of Brunello di Montalcino, mostly small farmers and family estates, together producing nearly 330,000 cases a year. In 2008, Italian authorities confiscated 4 producers' 2003 Brunellos on charges that the producers had committed fraud by including foreign varietals such as Cab Sauvignon and Merlot in the wine that they then fraudulently labeled as Brunello di Montalcino, which by law may only contain Sangiovese grapes. Laboratory tests later confirmed that the confiscated wines were in fact Brunello, except for a small portion that remained inconclusive.
Yep. So
that's the big Brunello.
That's the Brunello scandal 2003.
Yes.
So basically, overnight, people ripped out vineyards supposedly because they had Cabernet planted. They weren't supposed to have Cabernet. Very strict standards. The DOCG is very strict, and they were adding Cabernets for the American palate, the bigger, richer wines. Some Americans think these are too thin. There's not enough. A lot of finesse in these, but they wanted just a little more punch in the mouth of that Cabernet, like California. So they were mixing and blending. And Banfi was supposedly one of the ones on the list. So real funny story.
Oh yeah, this is funny.
Real funny story. Friends of ours who don't know this story, they were at
they're wine drinkers, but
they're
they don't
wine
really
drinkers.
know this kind of stuff.
Right, they drink great wine. They drink Bordeaux. They drink good wine. So they were at a Banfi wine dinner.
And they were just at a Brunello wine dinner. Was it Banfi?
It was Banfi.
Oh,
it was a Banfi wine dinner. And they were texting me, oh, we're drinking this wine. I said, and when they got to Brunello, and the sales rep from New York was at the dinner doing the whole presentation. I said, ask the sales rep how much Cabernet is in the Brunello. Him being naive and not knowing, he asked the rep that question, and he said the rep went crazy on him. He said he went ape crap on him. He was like,
and he had no idea why.
He was like, what?
What did you tell me to ask him?
He goes, you sent me a loaded question, didn't you? And we're laughing,
funny,
just seeing. He goes, the guy went off and got really upset and like, no. And so so that was part of the skill. And he just asked it nonchalantly. And this is a big deal in Brunello, like major deal, like. So it was funny on our end. I'm sure it wasn't funny on his end.
This was years ago. So we would not do that to him now.
So that was a funny story about Brunello. So that's it for today.
That's it.
Wine Thyme Live.
We'll be doing Wine Thyme Live tomorrow.
Yep.
Probably 2 different Wine Thyme Lives.
We could,
maybe.
The idea of Wine Thyme Live is to do it anywhere.
Anywhere we are.
Anywhere, whether we're in Italy, whether we're in our backyard, whether we're in our bar, whether we're in our living room, whether we're anywhere to do a Wine Thyme Live and create a podcast and just be able to tell great stories.
Tell funny stories.
Yep.
And just share the information that we know. And, if you're ever interested or need any help planning any trips, or want to travel with Marcus and I, send us a message, let us know, VIPwineryvacations.com. You can see our upcoming trips, but let us know because we'll help you. We'll help you plan things. We're pretty knowledgeable about the areas we've been to, and we'd love to help you because we just want you to have an awesome experience, whether it's with us or on your own.
With or without us, right?
Yeah. So.
Whether you get vintage Fiat tours, whether you want to have dinner on the heel of the Boot on the Adriatic and Ionian Sea where they meet and watch the sunset.
Listen, we'd love for you to travel with us because we love taking our guests and our friends with us. That is so much fun for us to give you.
Yep. Yeah. It's one of the things with Italian wines is very confusing. So we have...
Listen, I have to go to Italy to understand where these wines are coming from and the grapes and all that because it is really confusing.
It is confusing.
Right? Because it's not like certain areas, and I'll use the United States as an example. They label what kind of grape is in the bottle. So if you're having a
Napa Cab, it's easy.
You can see it on the bottle. But in Italy, just because this says Belpoggio Rosso di Montalcino, you have no idea what grape it is. You have zero idea what grape it is. And we know that it's Sangiovese because that's what they grow in that region, right? And
exactly.
That to be named a Rosso di Montalcino, right? It has to be 100% Sangiovese. Brunello has to be 100% Sangiovese as well, right?
Brunello di Montalcino. Yep. It's the same wine aged further, basically.
So.
We are putting up on our new website several videos, tutorial videos that you can watch in like 20-minute segments and like learn like Northern Italy, Central Italy, and Southern Italy. Just simply open a bottle of wine, watch one video, watch another video, watch another video, and within a week, you know so much more about Italian wine. You can actually go to a restaurant and order more confidently, go to the store and pick up a bottle more confidently, and just know some more terminology. That's going up on our new VIP, wineryvacations.com
I still have
website.
a lot of questions, so don't be intimidated. It's very interesting, and you learn a lot. So
And you can see this show is totally unscripted.
100%.
Jamie goes on typically every show and looks up information about that grape, about that wine, or whatever.
Marcus knows it all. He knows so much information that I just kind of learned from him. So it's fun to just experience it. And when you're there, wow. When you're there, you kind of piece it together. And you're like,
Well, yeah,
wow.
when you're there, you
Yeah.
piece it together. It's hard. You'll never forget what is in this wine once
When
you're
you're there.
on the vineyard in Montalcino. Right, you'll never forget.
Never.
Once you're in southern Italy in Manduria, you will know what Primitivo is. That it's
Or when
Zinfandel's
you're
cousin.
in Chianti, what is in
Right.
Chianti? So
You will never forget that.
Yeah.
So, all right, folks.
cheers, everybody.
Cheers for
Have
tuning in.
an awesome night. Drink a good bottle of wine.
Absolutely.
Cheers.